Morning, everyone. It's what do we got? It's now 6 here in Les Sables d'Olonne, but it's an early tracker update. I'm about to hit the plains and head over to Rome for another announcement with the Ocean Globe Race. But Seb and Jane and Lutz and Nora will be here holding the fort while we're gone, and they'll be doing a live when Damien arrives with PRB into Les Sables d'Olonne. There's quite a few interesting things going on here with the tracker, so it's an early one. And well, first of all, Edward is headed back to Les Sables d'Olonne. You can clearly see on the tracker this morning, 6 o'clock update, that he is on his way back to Les Sables d'Olonne. He hasn't sent us a message at this stage, but we can see he has made a decision to retire from the race at this stage. So we'll obviously be talking to him when he gets in, and it's for personal reasons. And that's part of what the GGR is. You have a dream, you have an ambition, and the reality sometimes kicks in, and there's always pressures at home and in business and in life. So, but it's best to make a decision early rather than head on down into the Southern Ocean and then try and change your mind back there. So, tough call for Edward, but as I say, that's what the GGR is about, and I'm sure he's made the right decision because that's simply what he wants to do. We're happy to see up here. In fact, I'll just zoom out. We'll go for the tail enders here for the moment. You can see over here, I'll zoom this up. The ETA of Damien into Les Sables d'Olonne is around about 10 o'clock today. He's about 20 miles away, or 18 miles, doing about 3 knots. If we hit on there, I've already got the toggle on there. I just measured it up before I opened up this live. He's doing 3.4 knots, and he's got basically 18 miles to go. So it'll be sometime around 10. Their intention is to pull the boat out of the water as soon as they get there, start work, and then get going again as soon as they can. So it could take half a day, could take a little bit more. It just depends. I have no idea what the fine detail is on the issue with the mounts on the hydrovane, but their team's ready with everything, ready to go, and we'll keep you updated on that one. We were very happy to see Arnaud finally alter course back towards the rum line. You can see here his track. He was basically heading north, and I have to admit there was some concerned discussions in the office for a while there, because we hadn't heard. He missed one of the regular tweets, and it was certainly an unusual course, but he finally tacked, and we got the message at the same time, all is well, and now he's making good time back towards where he should be going. And it looks as if he was doing that to keep the boat comfortable in the sea state. But as you can see now, the wind has dropped off. It's probably down around 15 knots and so. And if we look at the, I'll come back to the sea. No, I'll come back to the sea in a minute. If we look at the sea state over the whole fleet later, you'll see the sea is also dying down a bit. Nonetheless, still headwinds from where they want to go. Ian Herbert-Jones back here as well with the rest of the group doing 4.7 knots, a lot more comfortable, and happy to be sitting on the rum line. Mark Sinclair the same. The good news here, if you listen to Kirsten's satellite phone call, when she called in for a safety check, she was feeling really down. She's thinking that she'd really mucked up with her choices and decisions to go south, and she was out of the hunt, and all those sorts of subjects. Feeling, because she doesn't know where the rest of the fleet is. She's talking to a few boats, but we can't tell her. We can't say, hey, don't worry, blah, 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 this is in front. But she's really kicked the can now, and she's right back up there. So it's early days yet. No one's really made a lot of ground. Some have done better than others, but no one's out of the game at all. They're all in there with a chance. Even Elliot down here, they've got less wind, so he's still doing 3.5, fluffing around trying to get forward, get to the west. Guy de Boer's the same. That's Jeremy. Jeremy's down there, 4.5 knots. I might just zoom this in so we can get a better look at this. You can see here, and then here's Guy, 5.6. He sent a message last night saying, "Oh, the boat's flying. At last he's on the move." Still heading south, but they really need to go west. And Ayrton, happy to say, still plodding along, comfortable speed, 2.8. I'd say he's possibly, even though he feels good, he's going to get a lot of rest, because when you get concussion, it's important to fully recover. You don't really know what it means for your body and your head, things like that. So he's not in a hurry to start racing hard at the moment. He's quite happy to just plod along. He's probably sleeping a lot and just getting rest. We know he's taking a few drugs, so but again, not far away. And in fact, if I move the toggles here, I just switch it off again, put it on here. Let's go for a couple of measuring devices. Let's just look at Jeremy back here, okay, to put it into perspective. Jeremy to Pat at the moment, he's only 90 miles behind, and that's nothing in comparison to a 30-mile circumnavigation. So everyone's just frustrated and busting to get around the corner. The sad news is when they do, they get around Finisterre, they've got more headwinds for the next week. But anyway, that's what the GGR is as well. So not too bad there. Guy Waits doing okay, and currently doing 2.9 knots in this headwind. So there's lots of different things happening. Now, to my great surprise, I'll just zoom back again. To my great surprise, Abelish has gone off on a bit of a blinder. You have to remember that the course is down this way. He's still tacking, and it doesn't get the weather forecast maybe as well as some others have got. But there's a rule of thumb: you never tack away from the mark. You know, this is where you want to go, down here. So you can see, if you say this is where you want to go, even if you hold 90 degrees, his course is still out there. So anything you can do to stay in this tack is a lot better. So easy for me to sit here and say, oh, Abelish, that was a tactical blunder. You're just wasting some time there heading out on that leg. He would have been much better short tacking around here. And look at what Simon Kirsten's doing. He's going to jump out of this looking really good, because he's got you'll see the wind is hooking around the coast. You know, hooking from the coast and coming around. You often get that. He's making the most of it, short tacking along the coast. The sea state would be really good. It keeps the momentum going rather than being knocked around. And if you look at the relative positions, in fact, if we go to the leaderboard, that'll answer the question. Simon Kerwin obviously in front, you know, so Pat Lawless behind, and Tapio bearing down from the north. So, you know, at the end of the day, all their tactics, everything they went through, they're all going to work out about the same. And I can absolutely assure you that Tapio did a harder job to get where he is than Pat did, and also Simon. You know, Simon's probably the most relaxed of everyone right now. He's working hard, but he's in a really nice position to turn the corner. So I think I've covered off on everyone. Michael Goog's up there. He's looking okay, you know, right next door to Abelish. So you can see he's determined, and he'll follow this breeze. He's done a mini version of going north, but now he'll hold on port tack on this breeze and just keep coming down, chasing everyone. So really looking good. I think I've mentioned everyone. So I'm going to scale it back and show you the weather and the waves here. Okay, I'll go back another one. So there's the fleet. Get rid of the toggles, and we'll talk about the wind. Okay, so we're on wind here going forward. Okay, I'll get rid of that, and I'll drop it forward another day. Not quite a day. So you can see what's happening here. When they turn the corner, there's this light gradient. Now, it looks as if there's no wind there, but I reckon there will be, or you can see it's a lighter gradient going to the coast. So holding the coast is going to be, as I've mentioned before, it's a lot easier to go to windward in a better sea state than a worse one. And there'll be a stronger sea out here. Going to windward in 10, 15 knots is probably better than going to windward in 15 knots. But this looks still not bad. You know, it's probably only 15 knots, maybe higher. And that's on the 10th, so that's about a bit over a day away. If we go to the next day, it's slowly increasing. Now, the other thing to take note of is this wind does swing to the south, and it's going to fade. And look what's happening at the back here. The tail enders are going to get a real boost. So when it goes to the south, they'll be on port tack, just coming across the top of the Spanish coast there, and then they'll have to face it when they get here. But it'll give the tail enders a bit of a catch-up opportunity to the leaders. So again, it's going to keep the fleet together, which is kind of fun, and makes for an interesting time. So I'll push it forward again another day. So that's one day ahead. Let's go. That's a couple of days. You can see the headwinds strengthening. So some of them may tack out here, but if it was me, and I think you'll see Simon do the same, they'll short tack down the the coast because the conditions are going to be a little bit more manageable. We look at wave colours, and again you can see exactly what we're talking about. All on the coast here, it's a lighter blue colour, so there's less wave action. The further out, the bigger the waves are going to go. If we look at the colour code again at the bottom of the tracker, the reds are around, the deep red's about 6 metres. So over here, it's a 6 metre sea. That's where these pressure systems are really building and kicking in, but they're not going to come too close to the coast. So here you've got 1.5, 2 metres, which is not bad. I'll just go back to the wind and then sign off a bit here just to make sure I don't miss my plane and also to show you what's happening on the bigger picture with this whole system, and you'll see what's driving it. I think you can see what's going on there. So again, pushing the weather, you'll see it's all that's too big, too small rather. Here's Lanzarote down here. We'll be here tomorrow. We go Rome and then down to Lanzarote, waiting for the fleet, but a very distinct headwind gradient all the way down the Portuguese coast rather, for the next 3 days. So there's going to be slow progress coming down here, and it doesn't start to change until that's 4 days out. In fact, it's holding. It's holding there. There's a little chance of summer being out here, but it's not worth going far out there. So you'll see him pushing those headwinds all the way. And if I go through right to the 16th, it's not starting to get favourable, pushing him down until that's another 5 days away. So hopefully they'll be there by then. But anyway, tough conditions all round. Just an update. Well, probably not many French people listening, but Sebastian tried to get a Tracker Live update similar to what I've just given you yesterday in French, but we had some technical issues. He's trying to use the direct screen rather than me using my finger like this and pointing. And so when we get that up, I think you'll see Seb do a tracker update in French today, and we'll look forward to following the fleet. Anyway, everything looks good. They're all safe. Still frustrations for them, but it's all part of the fun, part of what the G